Welcome back to the Good Dynasty Sports Network. This week we're going to put out our own Good Dynasty Power Rankings. These rankings are not the BCS, they're not the coaches, they're not the AP. They're our own power rankings of how we feel these teams match up against the other teams in the Good Dynasty. Here's the 5 listed on the screen. We're going to break these down team by team in this video. We'll start with the Oregon Ducks. Oregon comes in at number 5 on our power rankings. We believe that's where they should be right now. They're a little bit lower in the BCS, but this is a good football team out west. This week they've got number 25 Arizona in a game that should decide their fate. After that they play Colorado and Oregon State. Oregon State's always a tough game, being a rivalry game, but we don't see any reason they should struggle with them. Leading the Ducks is Johnson and Freeman combined in that backfield. Running that spread attack, Johnson, Freeman combined for over 2,000 yards so far this year and 31 touchdowns. We fully expect Oregon to go nowhere but up in the polls. Next up is number 4 TCU. TCU's got Texas Tech and West Virginia to round out the regular season. 2 games they should be heavily favored in, being led by Kenny Hill. He's got over 2,000 yards passing and 1,300 yards rushing. Combined total of 32 touchdowns for the Horned Frogs. It's going to be interesting to see how the committee feels with them not having that conference championship game last weekend of the season when everybody else will be playing one more ranked team. Be interesting to see where TCU ends up and see if they can squeeze into that BCS national title game. This will be the controversial pick, having Florida there at number 3. Treon Harris has led this group with over 2,000 yards passing and 1,300 yards rushing, combined total of 15 touchdowns on the year. They play Fannin this week in what could be the upset pick for the week, with Brian Satterfield running the ball for Fannin. He's been something special. After that, they should cakewalk through Missouri before meeting Mashburn and Florida State. That Florida State game could very well decide the fate for the Florida Gators. If they're able to win that one, they could very easily slip into that BCS national title game. At number 2 is the Ohio State Buckeyes. The thing about Ohio State of the top 5, as confident in Ohio State getting the national title game as anybody in this top 5. With the schedule they got left in Indiana and Michigan, 2 games they should win very easily. I just don't see any way Ohio State is not playing for the BCS national championship. Ezekiel Elliott leading this football team, over 1,400 yards on the ground with 23 touchdowns. Cardale Jones is the one that nobody's giving a lot of attention, but he's still got over 2,700 yards passing and 28 touchdowns. Both those guys are leading this Buckeyes team to what I believe is going to be a BCS national title appearance in the future. At number 1 is the Georgia Bulldogs, and I'm not sure what else you can say about the Georgia Bulldogs. The things they have done this year is more than any other team in the country by far. They embarrassed Mississippi State, which has turned out to be a pretty easy thing to do. But then they beat Florida in what was the biggest game of the year. They found a way to win it. Georgia remaining schedule is Kentucky and then number 22 Georgia Tech. Rivalry games can always sneak up on you, but I don't see any way that either one of those teams can pull it off. Then of course the SEC championship game, which it looks to be now they're going to be playing Alabama in a game that they should be favored in as well. Nick Chubb is getting the love from the media right now with over 1,300 yards and 31 touchdowns, but nobody's paying much attention to Grayson Lambert as he leads all of college football with over 3,000 yards passing already and 26 touchdowns. If it was up to me right now, I'm saying the Georgia Bulldogs are in the national championship game playing Ohio State, but don't sleep on Bama in that SEC championship game. They could very well slip up and beat Tim Tow's Dogs. I'll give you a couple teams to watch on the outside looking in right now. We'll start with Mashburn coming back in with this Florida State team. Florida State is a team that could very easily sneak into this national championship picture. They're a top 10 team right now. They've still got Florida left on the schedule. If they're able to beat Florida and win that ACC championship game, they probably need a little bit of help from Georgia or Ohio State, but they could still very easily slip into that national title game. Next up on the list will be the team that's at number 4 right now in the BCS. That's the CPU Louisville Cardinals. The Cardinals have left on their schedule SMU, Rutgers, Memphis, and Houston. All games they should win, and if they win out, we could very well have a computer team sneak into that BCS national championship picture. And if that was to be the case, Ohio State or Georgia are going to be licking their chops and pulling for Louisville to win every single game they play from here on out, just to avoid some of the other users in this dynasty. as always, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out in the next few weeks. Tune back into the channel, first chance you get. We got some highlight videos coming up. We're going to have some more hype videos for certain games. I'm sure the SEC Championship, the Big 12, the Big 10, the Pac-12. We'll have some hype videos for those as well as that national title game. So come back to the channel, check us out from the Good Dynasty Sports Network. We'll catch you next time.